Thanks, Admiral Chatfield, for that introduction, but more importantly, for your leadership. The Naval War College has sustained standards of excellence in delivering world-class education since 1884. This college has created leaders who positively affect substantive change in the military, across the government, and among our many allies and partners around the globe. As a proud graduate of this institution 20 years ago, I'm proud and humbled to be with you today. Take a moment to look to your left and look to your right. Among you is a future chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, a service chief, a combatant commander, agency directors, and many of you undoubtedly will soon be generals and admirals. You will all lead this nation's joint force and our allied and partner militaries at the highest levels. Each of you will have the responsibility to protect our country, and you are all exceptionally talented, steeped in fundamental values, and ready for the challenges ahead. All of you have been operating in dynamic environments for the better part of 2 decades, whether conducting counterinsurgency operations in the Middle East, flying strategic deterrence missions around the Pacific, or sailing through choke points critical to our nation's economic security interests. None of you are strangers to difficult missions. Reflect for a moment on what you have seen just while here. China and Russia are in every domain and actively seek opportunities to challenge America's security. Both countries are determined to undermine our network of allies and partners as they seek to weaken existing international order. North Korea threatens our regional allies and potentially our homeland with the development of nuclear and ballistic missile capabilities. Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, and they have taken advantage of instability to expand their malign influence and challenge the interests of the United States and our allies and partners throughout the Middle East. And violent extremism, it remains a trans-regional struggle requiring sustained political, fiscal, and military effort. And here at home, the recent medical crisis has cost 120,000 American lives and has stressed our health system, our economy, and the social fabric of our communities. We have also been witness to widespread civil unrest that has roots deep into our historical past. All of these challenges and many more contribute to a security environment that is increasingly unpredictable and under strain. This is the environment in which each of you will operate as senior officers. The dynamic nature of the current security environment is counterbalanced by an international order established 75 years ago at the end of World War II, the bloodiest war in human history. In the short period of 31 years, from 1914 to 1945, World Wars I and II were fought among the great powers of the day, and 150 million people around the world were killed in the conduct of great power war. In World War I, from September to November 1918, just 8 weeks, the American Expeditionary Force fought the Battle of the Meuse-Argonne at the expense of 26,000 Americans killed in action and another 96,000 wounded. 26 years later, at the height of World War II, in another 8-week period from June to August 1944, Americans hit the beaches in Normandy on their way to liberate Paris from Nazi control. In that campaign, 24,000 Americans were killed in action and another 100,000 were wounded. At the same time, around the world in the Central Pacific, we took Saipan, Guam, and Tinian, suffering another 26,000 casualties in the Marianas Campaign. We fought from Anzio to Rome to seize it from the Nazis and give our bombers reach into Germany. In the Southwest Pacific, we fought in the Burma and New Guinea campaigns, all in the summer of 1944. In those intense 8 weeks, American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen suffered more than 210,000 casualties, with 57,000 paying the ultimate sacrifice. And that does not include the hundreds of thousands of allies and innocent civilians who were killed. That is great power war. That's what the international order is designed to prevent. Today, we talk about terms like great power competition and great power war in conversations in classrooms so easily, but not so for the greatest generation. 1 year ago, I had an opportunity to go to the 75th anniversary of the Normandy landings. I was talking to several of the veterans there and asked one of them simply, "What is your lesson from World War II? What is the great lesson for those of us in uniform today?" He looked up at me and tears came to his eyes and he said, "General, never let it happen again." Never let it happen again. In 1945, people throughout the world said never again. So they set up processes, policies, laws, and organizations that today we commonly refer to as the international order with the goal of preventing another great power war. Twice before in history I'm aware of, from 1648 to 1750 under the Treaty of Westphalia, and from 1815 to 1914 under the Concert of Europe, there was an international order established on the continent of Europe. Both lasted about 100 years. We are now in the 75th year of the current international order, and it's under tremendous stress. Today, your mission, my mission, is to prevent another great power war and maintain the great power peace. I offer you 3 lessons to consider on how to prevent great power war as you shortly become senior leaders. The first is vigilance. We must identify signs of aggression, especially during periods when we are weary from conflict or otherwise preoccupied. These are the times when aggressors sense opportunities. From many historical examples, we know the indicators: rapid military expansion, aggressive foreign policies, economic intimidation, violations of international norms, growing nationalism and bellicose rhetoric. We see many of these indicators in today's international environment, demonstrated by the potential adversaries identified in our national defense strategy. Hone your ability to understand the context of what you read day to day by being an avid consumer of multiple forms of media, daily review of current intelligence, a committed study of international politics and geostrategy, and a very deep understanding of military history. And history itself, it never repeats, but it does rhyme, to paraphrase Mark Twain. More importantly, it can help each of us think through similar challenges that we may face. The second lesson is to maintain a high degree of readiness throughout the joint force so that we may preserve the peace through strength. Our adversaries will be deterred by our military capabilities and our resolve to use them. If deterrence fails, we must be prepared to fight and win. That includes preparing our leaders to observe, orient, decide, and act with skill and confidence, often amid the fog of war. You each have finished an intense year of study to do just that. After World War II, we embarked on a multi-decade challenge of forming and sustaining the global order that we know today. For 7.5 decades, we have not had a great power war. For sure, there's been many wars since 1945, but none have been a great power war, in large part because of the capability of the United States military. We're not the only reason, but we are one of the most significant reasons. And lastly, the third observation I would offer is the importance of allies and partners. We are most successful when we collaborate with allies and partners to achieve common security goals. Alliances and key partners have ensured a period of stability by discouraging aggressive behaviors from our adversaries. We must continue to develop these relationships and maintain the strength we have as a network of nations to encourage a stable world order. There is great strength in times of crisis when we and our allies and partners remain equally committed to a common cause. So we are now in the 75th year of the international order bestowed upon you and me by those that came before us. And that international order is under stress. It's being challenged, and the return of great power competition is highlighted in our NDS, which all of you have studied this year. And a key element of great power competition is the changing character of war, with its rapid technological improvements. To maintain our strength in order to prevent great power war, we are modernizing our joint force through innovative concept development, advanced technology, and new capabilities for the security challenges of the future. The battlefields of today and tomorrow span all domains and feature operations of increasing speed and reach. Compared with operations during the last great power conflict, the speed of information flow between the strategic, operational, and tactical echelons of command is exponentially greater today and only getting faster. The speed of information in today's world offers not only instant feedback to facilitate decision-making, but it also creates unforeseen internal friction and can compound the fog of war that comes from information overload and makes it very difficult to separate the signal from the noise. We know that autonomous systems supported by artificial intelligence and high-capacity wireless connectivity are the foundation for future military operations. But how we integrate these systems may be decisive in the next conflict within the context of the changing character of war. This will be one of the great military modernization challenges that will happen on your watch. I trust that your experience this past year has put you on a path to better understand and leverage these and many other areas of development to secure our nation. But cutting-edge technologies and systems alone will not win the next war. It's our people that solve complex problems and develop innovative ideas. It will soon be your fight to recruit, retain, and promote our very best. As you know, it takes decades to grow a senior uniformed leader, and each of you are products of 2 to 3 decades of sacrifice and service. So continue to do everything you can to cultivate and protect your ability to keep an open mind and an eye on the future and the way of doing things, but also your openness to people whose appearance is not the same as yours or who come from a different place than you. Mentor a junior officer or enlisted member with a different background than yours. You will learn from them while they learn from you. And remember that cohesion is a force multiplier and divisiveness leads to defeat. Just as each service wears a different uniform and brings different strengths to the table as an organization, our different experiences and backgrounds as people make us better than we would be alone. The whole is always greater than the sum of its parts. Eliminate anything that divides us. We need all the brilliance of the American people to effectively compete against our adversaries. Our responsibility as military leaders is to ensure that each and every one of our service members are treated fairly, with dignity and respect, and are inspired to give this institution their very best. Lastly, never forget why you joined the military or decided to serve your country. Remember our oath to support and defend the Constitution and its essential principle, that all men and women are born free and equal, and have freedoms of speech and press and religion, and the right to peaceful assembly and to vote. Our oath to support and defend the Constitution is the foundation of our military ethos. We, as service members, as an institution, are defined by that oath. At our core, we have the values of honor, integrity, duty, and commitment, but it's all defined by our oath. And we must live those values every day, just as we pledge our lives to protect them in war. We who wear the cloth of our nation must hold dear also the principle of an apolitical military that is so deeply rooted in the very essence of our republic. So relish the opportunity, relish it, to lead the young men and women who embody all that is good about America. You have a responsibility to prepare our future generations of leaders, to uphold our values and face our security challenges with unmatched knowledge, skill, and innovation. And to all of you, congratulations. I applaud your achievement and look forward to watching you take the helm of our great joint force well into the future.